And I don't know. I know he can't just like have spots of the map that are inaccessible, but I don't know how I feel about just because like that's what happened with Lumbridge Castle. He ended up blocking the back entrance and the front entrance of Lumby Castle. And since he blocked both, that meant he was able to have full access to the Lumbridge Castle. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about. Well, he blocked the walls. Like he blocked the front entrance by wall like when he and then he went into it, and then he went the south part of the wall around the castle, and then he blocked the back door. So that meant that there was no other way for him to get in or out of the Lumbridge Castle walls. So it unlocked everything within the castle walls. I don't know. And he's defending it super hard in the comments because a lot of his comments were people saying the whole arbitrary rule thing. They're like, it's complicated and convoluted, and you're making these like arbitrary rules to keep it going. And he was like being pretty he was defending it in the comments. Just find out if you love an idea and you love a concept, you're gonna defend it. And yeah, he was saying that he doesn't think it's too complicated. Like one of the examples he gave that was given by a commenter was, settled. In one of his videos, he mentions that he thinks an idea like this you should be able to get the entire idea across in the title of your video. Like for Swampletics, Lock to Mortania, boom, done. That's the whole idea. With Make Tile, can only move a tile at a time, boom, idea. And the person was like, your idea is so convoluted, people are having a hard time following, and it's not simple and concise. And he was defending it, saying, like, well, his first video was titled, Extreme Chunk but one tile at a time, and that's boom explained in one. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, let me get caught up. Let me see. It's like McTile meets Chunker, kind of, yeah. Isn't there a guy who does that 2 tiles, 1 chunk? That's not the same thing though. If we're talking about the same person, we might be talking about different people because there's so many different ideas out there. But there is someone that does like, I know there's one person that does. They're a chunk account, but they stockpile. They stockpile. They stockpile tiles while doing their chunk goals, and they can leave their chunk using the tiles they've stocked. I've seen that. Okay, gotcha. Um, seems arbitrary rules hard to follow without more guidance on the screen. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I said, it's hard to follow for me. Think you should have made them inaccessible. That would make for more varied. He complains that all chunk counts become the same. Don't agree. Sure, all chunks would get unlocked or most of them, but doesn't mean the same adventure. That really bothered me a lot, and not just because I'm a chunker, but he does like a whole. For you that hasn't seen it, Bruce, he does like a whole like in that video he just released this past week. He does this whole like explanation on how chunk accounts are all basically the same, and I feel like he hasn't done his research if he thinks all chunk accounts are basically the same. Didn't read the comments, yeah, but okay, I'll wait till the ads are over. I think everyone here is a subscriber, but just in case. I'm gonna pause the music because I want to do something real quick. I want to do something real quick. Um, Okay, so here's something I want to like. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so here I'm gonna turn like close this real quick. I don't know what the rules are with like showing things like this, but I've seen people show YouTube videos online on streams and stuff before, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Yeah, you should be able to see everything. So this is basically for Bruce because I know you said you haven't seen it. This is like when he goes over the whole chunks always being the same. That's basically. I don't think he really does much more after that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I don't know. I think it's flawed. Like it doesn't take into account. It doesn't take into account different people starting in different locations. It doesn't take into account people um different rule sets. Uh and he goes on to say that like his is different because there's like what is it? I think he said there's like 4,000 or something tiles in a chunk or there's some crazy I think it's like four no. I don't remember. He says how many tiles there are in a chunk and that his is more unique and different and it won't be the same because there's so many more tiles that's going to be different or I don't know. It was just strange and I disagree with it. I think there's flaws in the logic. I felt personally attacked, you know. But yeah. Um you know what, actually I'll turn it back. I think he let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think that's basically it. But it. Oh yeah, and then see this person. So let's just do a look through real quick. So this person says that he should do an all pets series on the UIM Loki. There aren't many UIMs at your level making videos, which makes him unique. This is a wildly horrible idea. If this is what you're resorting to, then maybe best just go outside for a while. 6 minutes into the first video, he's still explaining how the account will work. Sorry, but this ain't it, Chief. Confusing as hell. No end goal or goals in general. Feels like background noise at best. I don't see how I'd be able to stick to any goals, so I'm not able to choose the direction I'm going. The series feels a little loose, if that makes sense. I read this whole thing, but I won't read it now. But it's like, let's see. They commented a year ago saying it wasn't interesting. He's less interested now. Let's see. Don't know how it'll work in the long term. And don't think you do either. The series seems like high risk, low reward. Oh yeah, they talk about this is the person that talks about the settled thing. Yeah, right here. You should be able to explain the whole concept and all the rules in the title of your video. And he's like, I agree about the vibe of having a series being explained in title, something you thought a lot about before setting on the series concept. Personally think the concept for the series is indeed sufficiently community and tile. Chunkman, Iron Man, but it's tiles. Obviously, it's not as easily digestible as like my UIM to Mortania, but it's still very straightforward. The only complications that emerged were in regards to the tile rolling system, not the core concept, so it's only ever been as simple as this. Randomly unlocking RuneScape by cleaning each tile, which is the title for episode 1. Additionally, the tile rolling system does not seem complicated to me at all when you reduce it to simple terms, the north, east, southwest being 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if soul entry / exit to an area is unlocked, complete that area using the rules above. Think people need to give the series a chance before writing it off. Some fun and really interesting thing happened. Yeah. Anyway, this person says I'm all for the series. This person says it's simple. People are blowing it out of proportion. Anywho, I won't go too much farther into this. I think straight up Extreme 1 chunk would be leaps and bounds better. Oh, this person's like super big on Reddit. I wonder what they said. They don't think it should be a main / primary series. Anyway. Alright. I keep saying I'm not going to do anymore. I think you get the point. People are saying it's too complicated and he's defending it. But, yeah. Okay. Oh, shoot. I should have just left. I've got a full inventory. Alright. I'm going to go back to music. And then I'm going to get caught up on chat because I'm sure there was a lot while I got distracted reading comments. Oh gosh, the song's doing the bouncing thing. Okay. Alright. I had to scroll up a bit. I'm very far behind. Give me 1 second. Okay. The arbitrary rules is also what turns you off a Slay Brothers series. I have not seen that, so I don't know what to say on that one. You think the big gap probably hurts? You like Loki, you do. You have been watching his UM series since he had like 3 viewers on Twitch. Sometimes he gets a little more big brain than he really is. I get what you're saying by that, I think, because like some of the like tangents and like explanations he went on, I felt like were overly complicated. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm obviously not saying he's not smart, but the way he explained it seems like he was using big words for the sake of sounding intelligence and making things overly complicated to make himself seem smart. I don't know if I'm not saying he is intentionally doing that. That might just be his personality, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I definitely did get the vibe. Like, I was like, you really could have dumbed this down for the viewer, but instead you're like using big words and showing charts and graphs on screen that are like super complicated, and it just doesn't, it's not easily digestible. Are you like trying to do that just to seem smart? I don't know. But I don't know him. That I'm not saying that's how he, maybe that's not what he intended, but that's the feeling I got. I was like, whoa, this is not need to be this complicated. His reasoning for that is flawed. He was only looking at the distribution of chunks. If he really wanted to do his analysis, he should look at task completions. That's exactly how his analysis felt. Curious who he showed this to before releasing it, because it's severely flawed logic. Yeah, I think the logic was very flawed in it. And I agree, yeah, he should have looked at task completions would have helped more, yeah. There's a couple flaws. The journey will always be different. People start in different places, but in the grand scheme of things, you're unlocking the same place with the same possible tasks, just more roles to get to it. But like that's what's gonna make it so different. Like it's where you start and your roles. I've seen like so many different content creators doing this, and all of them have been different because of role sets and start locations and even like travel restrictions. Like people have different ways they travel places. I don't know. I feel like it's very way more. The logic is bad, but you're not going to the comments to explain so much. That true. Your issue isn't the issue isn't that he likes the process he's going, and that's different. It's more so that he's shit talking everyone else's stuff. Issue isn't that he likes what's going on. Yeah, yeah. I don't think there was a need to call out the problems with chunks. That was weird. Literally, all he did was show the rate at which a circle's permanent increases as a function of the radius. Congrats, he rediscovered basic geometry. Yeah. The rolling system is a core concept of the account. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it keeps auto-scrolling some of it. There we go. In the grand scheme of things, it's just an extreme chunk with more steps. He's going to have to basically do the same grinds, just slower, which if that's what he wants to do, dope. Yeah. He's going to avoid things like 9 fast 9 woodcutting arbitrarily too. So do even if he unlocks this house. So rather than mention those exceptions up front, they come up as he progresses. Yeah, I mean, I know like if you watch the video, he basically gets really excited because you know the 99 defense cape and the 99 woodcutting cape are like up here. And when he's rolling, he starts at the spawn, so right around here. He makes his way like south into this building, has a big grind killing the man there. That's another thing is like he doesn't want to have to deal with like roaming people, so the way he handles that is if he unlocks where the creature spawns, then he has to grind it for all of their drops. So he ended up going in this building, and the man that lives in this building spawns in it, so he had to like get every single drop from the man. And he ended up like unlocking this oak, but because he went past it. Anyway, that's what I was getting at. So he goes down here, then he's heading back up, and he ends up like going here, and somehow or another he's like there, and then he steps down to here, and because of that, there's like he's got blocks like basically all here, and it goes all the way down like this. So there's no way, because he can't cross his previously done tiles in this, so there's no way for him to get up here without going around the castle. So he like never has to touch any of these skill capes unless he goes completely around the castle and back up top, since he can't go through his own tiles once he's unlocked it. It like kind of makes a perimeter. He's doing it like a game of Snake. Yeah, yeah. Yes, he can. Oh yeah, okay. I guess we didn't make that clear. That's my bad. Yeah, he can only roll. He can only roll from the most recently rolled chunk or recently rolled tile. So whenever he like say I'm on this one right here and I roll east and I step here, once I finish all the goals, I roll 1, 2, 3, and I can't roll 4 because you can't backtrack. So I'll roll like let's say I roll 3. Well then I go here. And now I can only roll like 2, 3, and 4. Say I roll 4, so I go here. Well, now I can't roll 1 or 2. I can only roll 3 or 4. Does that make sense? And then, like I said, if he fully surrounds something, then he gets it. So like the first time that happened was he ended up getting like basically like this, and so that's when he came up with the rule. He was like, "Oh, I would never be able to get back in here, so because I've surrounded it, I can now freely go in here." And he ends up doing the same with this building too. Like he ends up getting this tile, and then he talks. I don't remember if I think he ends up like blocking off the. It's either he blocks off like I think he blocks off like this somehow, which then gives him like full access to everything over here, including inside of the chapel here, because he's blocked off the only 2 ways to get back here. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked talking about that message. Let's keep going. Okay. Even if he unlocks those tiles, so rather than mention those exceptions up front, they come up as he progresses, yeah. He has a real metaphysical outlook on stuff, and I think makes it a lot of his identity. It bleeds into his explanation of things. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't watch much UIM Loki. Like, I tried in, like, February to watch his series, and I didn't stick with it. I don't have a reason why. It wasn't like I hated it, but for some reason I just didn't stick with it. I don't know why. I just didn't. Um, the list of YouTube Chris videos is a bit in bad taste, in your opinion. Yeah. I honestly I didn't focus too much on that, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I should have focused more on that. Like that's a really good point, and it went completely past me. Doing a game of Snake, yeah. And I was actually wondering how he was gonna do that, because I agree the same thing, Dudgered. Like, having it would have been neat to have every adjacent tile unlockable, but that would be like impossible to keep up with. I think doing it like Snake was the best way to do it, because when you get to like 100, if you get like 50 tiles and all of the surrounding tiles are numbered like that, and then you roll one having to renumber, I'm like, yeah, that'd be crazy. He should have described it like that, turning the RuneScape map into a game of Snake. He explained it in a very convoluted way, showing the distribution. So a 5-minute explanation, not a one-liner. Calling it Snake is a nice idea, though. He could even use that as part of his explanation of strangling off parts he surrounds. True. Hindsight, he should have played the mode for a while before making the first video, so he would be able to make a succinct set of rules, including his exceptions. Yeah, yeah. One of the things he even mentions in the first video, he's like, he's showing what I showed, or he was doing the, where I showed how he blocked off the whole 99s by going inside the castle walls. When he was rolling those chunks, he essentially said that if he didn't block it off and he started heading towards them and he got the goal, that he was going to reset the account. He straight up said that if he got the 99, he was like, I'm not going to fight men until 99 defense, so I will re-roll. if that happens. Which is interesting. Like, part of me feels bad because you can, like I said, you can see his emotion and like emotional attached to it. You can hear how excited he is when he's playing it. So I kind of feel bad for all the hate he's getting, but I guess that's part of being a public figure, is not everyone liking what you like or not liking what you do and all that. But I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it either. And then during his Lumbee Castle surrounding, he made yet another roll inside that he had to roll inside and do the tasks in the same order. That part confused me altogether. Would have been less polarizing if he didn't call it the chunk count, so flawed logic. Yeah, that I honestly didn't understand what he was saying whenever he was talking about the whole doing tasks inside the castle and all that. I didn't get it. Like, it didn't make sense to me what he was getting on about. I don't know, it seems almost deserved of the random bits of shade and the real half-baked idea. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm a big believer in, like, the two wrongs don't make a right. Like, yes, he shouldn't have done that, but I don't think he deserves to be, like... I don't think he deserves anything less because of him saying that. That's just my philosophy and my belief just in life in general, so... I'm not saying you're right or wrong or anything like that. That's just how I feel on that kind of stuff. I don't like seeing people get that. But yeah, I really didn't understand the whole what he was. If you can explain that, Dudgered, maybe you got it, understood it more than me. I didn't really understand the whole how he was saying he had to do tasks. Unless it's just as simple as I think it is. Having a bad idea is okay and shouldn't be persecuted for it. The shade makes you a target for people to criticize. I mean, I understand what you're saying by that, but I go back to the two wrongs to make a right. Just because he did that doesn't mean he should receive criticize because of that. Like, criticize it because it's a bad idea, but not because he did something against others. My opinion, though. Like I said, my opinion. Like, I guess the reason I didn't understand the whole, like, unlock having to do everything inside the castle is that just seems like a basic idea to me. If you unlock, basically he was saying that when he surrounded something, he had to continue to roll inside so that he would do things in a given order. Oh, so instead of, like, okay, I get it. So instead of, like, I just have to do everything in this castle as if I unlocked the castle chunk, and it just spits out all these tasks at me. He's saying he still has to do it tile by tile. Okay. Interesting. I get why he's saying that, but I don't know if I agree with it. I'm very curious if he continues it though. Like, is he gonna do like some video in response to all the criticism? Is he just gonna like make the next video and the same? Is he gonna make edits? Like, I'm curious where it goes.